A rivalry resumes in the state of Washington on the campus of Spokane and Gonzaga University. It's the Gonzaga Bulldogs welcoming in the #1 in the nation, Washington Huskies. Now Big Ten against Pac-12. Used to be flip-flop on the Pac-12 and WCC. So there's been a lot of years of this matchup, but seldomly has it pertained within two different teams, one of which at the top of the heap. John Billings here. We're with you alongside former Gonzaga goalkeeper Vito Higgins. Excited for the bout, and I think a lot of fans in the stadium here tonight excited to see one of the best teams in college soccer. The University of Washington, national champions one season ago, but they didn't have to just completely rebuild. This season they come in #1 on top of the table, but a blemish already on the standings, a loss to the University of San Diego just a few days ago. But this is one of the most impressive teams, and that win of the national championship, Vito, they had to go 6 times on the road to do it. Really impressive. Now, these two teams have matched up against each other for years, and it's been pretty lopsided. University of Washington, 33-1-2 in the head-to-heads, but they're not always blowouts. They're always tight. And Vito, you know how challenging this can be with that rivalry added in.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember my senior year, we were able to pull out the win in a long time, and just the energy of that game, just a full packed field. It was amazing to be a part of it, so hopefully we can see some excitement tonight.
Last year it was a 3-0 victory for UW, but last time it was in Spokane, it was 1-1. We could have a good contest on our hands here tonight. It's the Zags and the Huskies right around the bend. Welcome back to Luger Field as both teams getting ready back on the pitch. The Gonzaga Bulldogs hosting the #1 in the nation, Washington Huskies. And the first time at home, Chris McGahee has been in charge of the Zags as they take on their cross-state rivals in his second season after removing the interim tag last year, the first full year as the head man over the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And the last few years, the man between the pipes has been Chema Preciado, one of the best goalkeepers in the nation. If Gonzaga is going to pull off an upset here tonight, you'd expect him to have a big piece in that puzzle. He was tremendous the other night. We'll talk about it as the broadcast moves through, but saved a penalty kick and kept his team and the shutout alive. Over on the other side, one of the top headmen in the college game, Jamie Clark, 190, 72, and 41. 2 trips to the national championship game, and of course last year getting to raise the trophy. In goal, a newcomer for UW this year, as the previous man had moved on. It's now Stockton Short, transfer from Utah Tech, who got the start in the first matchup against San Diego and sees action here again tonight. Beautiful evening, sun is setting behind us. The weather is crisp but cool, about 80 degrees as they kick off here. Just an ideal setting for the match, no wind, and a perfect way to spend your Sunday evening. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube. Pac-12 Soccer on the table. Look at our impact players. We'll talk a lot about Ramsey and Bertos for University of Washington. Ramsey up top, Harrison Bertos in the back. For Gonzaga, it's the playmaking of Drew Peterson up top, usually receiving service from Morgan Olson. But as we'll get to the lineups in a few minutes here, Drew Peterson not starting tonight for Gonzaga. Coach Chris McGahee electing to bring him off the bench, a little more instant impact to bring after this initial kind of energy is output. So a little bit of a unique decision there to start. I think a clever one, and we'll see how it plays out for Gonzaga. GU will go from right to left in all white, and all black is the University of Washington Huskies. First touch for Connor Lofi. Back to Bertos and over to Akulov. Those two have matched up together for the last few years in the Huskies. So much experience coming back from that national championship team a year ago. And it will be a throw-in. Good look at Perry Blay, transfer from Liberty University. Had a tremendous match the other night, tons of pace and ability. Good chance here on the turnover, crossed in front of goal. And a loose touch from Alex Hall allows Morgan Olson to bring it free for the Zags. Back to Sam Dolan, the senior, sends it long and clears the lines. University of Washington from back to front. We'll take a look at the lineup. In front of Stockton Short, left to right is Zach Meyer, Harrison Bertos, Igor Akulov, and Asher Hested, the number 5 on the near side. In the midfield, Cameron Cruz on the left, Alex Hall on the right, Osato Mbulele, and Connor Lofi. And up top, Chad Sovdi and Zach Ramsey. A lot of players returning from that national championship team last year. Really just 2 or 3 from the lineup are new, including the goalkeeper. Well, no surprise that they were touted so highly, Vito, to start the year. Anytime you have a great season and then you bring a bunch of veterans back, you'd expect the coaches to pick them high.
Yeah, it definitely makes things easy moving throughout the season if you can keep your group all together and in one unit. There's obviously a lot of change in college soccer, but if you can keep them for 3 or 4 years, I say you're doing a good job.
Nice look at Blay, who was able to come back. Now a long ball across from Suzuki. Kept alive, Luanda in front. And timely defending from the superstar Harrison Bertos. He had to be alert as Michael Luand was right on the doorstep.
Yeah, you can already feel the difference of energy in tonight's game. The work rate, everything else is, it's looking solid so far.
Well, certainly a good crowd on hand here tonight. The berm to our right is full. You can see in the background on that shot that the stands are pretty full as well, and that energy carrying over onto the pitch. Even some drums brought to this match. I think a mixture of UW and Gonzaga fans. Olsen, after Gonzaga went short, a misplayed clearance from Alex Hall, and the Zags will get another attempt. Usually it's Morgan Olsen that serves this direct, but looking to do something a little differently on the short corner. Senshin Suzuki, big match for him. He's a native of Seattle. Certainly will mean a little more to him to go against University of Washington. Olsen, better ball in this time. Over the head of one. And finally delivered from Bertos down the field. Cameron Cruz gives chase, but Blay was back easily. And the first touches from Chema Preciado, not a great clearance. Little shove in the back from Suzuki. And noticed by Sergei Shalan, our head official here tonight. Two referees on each side, Matthew Sir and Ali Amir. And the fourth official is Josh Madison. It's going to be Zach Ramsey all the way back from his front line to deliver the left-footed. Just floated up. And well over the head. Giving chase was Henabulele. You know, I always feel like in these matches, you've got so much energy coming forth that really just not making any mistakes, staying with it through the first 10 minutes. Is that kind of what both coaches would be hoping for, or maybe especially Gonzaga?
Yeah, I would definitely calm the nerves. You're coming out of the gates hot. Really easy to make some costly mistakes in those first 10 to 15 minutes, but you still want to bring the energy. You want to come out, flat-footed. I would say Gonzaga's probably on the heels a little bit just with the record. UW is going to be hungry and thirsty after that Thursday night kind of fumble.
Let's take a look at the Gonzaga lineup. In front of Chema Preciado, the fifth-year senior. From left to right across the back is Perry Blay. Scott Chavira Robles is in after the red card of Isaac Dahlhart the other night. Sam Dolan and then Damani McKenna on the right. There will be two holding midfielders, Senshin Suzuki and Jan Hjaltason, the Icelander. Carson Hammond moves up on the right side and Jeremy Onetcha on the left. And then that number 10 role will be Morgan Olsen trying to serve into Michael Luand up top. Long diagonal. It's going to test Blay. Hested was there. Couldn't collect it. Expect Asher Hested to be forward. He plays right back, but he'll be on the right wing. Both outside backs like to get forward for this Huskies team.
Good. Against them.
And they'll deliver from those wings. Good win from Chavara Robles. Knocked down to Hjaltason, who finds Hammond out on the right. Nice little interchange between him and McKenna. Both of those two can play outside back or right wing. They swap positions from the match the other night against Fordham. Throw it taken quickly by Gonzaga. Blay. Able to find Onetcha. Blay with time. Finds his fellow Minnesotan, Olsen. And a good challenge when it's back for the Huskies, who try to release in onsides. It's Softy, and the tackle coming across Sam Dolan, who gives a huge flex and cheer towards his bench. Chad Softy was in clear, and you can see the water coming up on off the pitch that was watered before the match. Sam Dolan slid across. That was make or break, Vito.
Yeah, that was a perfectly timed tackle. Do or die.
Dolan, the senior out of Shoreline, Washington. So another one in that Seattle area that will have a little extra incentive here. So many of these players, Vito, have played together and against each other growing up. In fact, only 6 players on the University of Washington are from outside of Washington State. And we know Gonzaga has a lot of players from the Washington area, so that means there's a ton of players that have maybe not known each other, but known of each other since they were probably 12 years old. It means a little more.
Absolutely. They've got to grow up with each other.
Here's it right in front of the net, and Preciado didn't have to make the save, but still not out of danger yet. It's with Alex Hall. Drops back to Hested. Took a deflection on the way through, and in the end, McKenna can clear. And a missed touch finds Carson Hammond. He's only got one to aim for, but Gonzaga getting clear. Altisson now flops it over the top. Olsen giving chase, but an easy one for Bertos.
Yeah, it's definitely a big difference when you get to grow up with one another. You have that competitive edge. You get to see each other grow, and really it really grows really nice, fulfilling relationships. So healthy, hopefully, but competitive nonetheless.
A little too eager, a little too excited from the freshman there. No yellow card, but another set piece, almost the exact spot that Ramsey served from moments earlier. And Washington will go quick. Space on the right side for the Newcastle Washington native, Hall. Trying to slide it through, but it was read by Suzuki. Luan. Excellent job holding up possession, but then he had his pocket clean there by Lofi. Gonzaga able to return the favor, and then Lofi again finds his touch. Now Ramsey, Zach Ramsey, slid by Sam Dalla. Did he get ball? No, free kick. It's early for a yellow. Ramsey was given the kind of imaginary yellow card appeal, which if you're not careful can get you booked instead, but it will be a free kick, no yellow card, and Dalla just came in too late.
Yeah, he should have just taken one little extra step to kind of get that distance to cover, but well done on the UW player to speed up.
A little over-eager there from Sam Dolan. So the left-footed opportunity would be for Zach Ramsey. Going to be a six-man wall for Gonzaga, plus Perry Blay laying down behind the wall to prevent anything going underneath the boots. Right-footed offering would be from Alex Hall. Either would have an angle here. It's going to be Zach Ramsey off the post and in. University of Washington strikes first on the free kick from superstar Zach Ramsey. Ramsey with his second goal on the young season. Not much Preciado could do from that close in. If you can get it around the wall. And Ramsey, wow, up and over, just inches underneath the crossbar.
I got excited.
Any shot that kisses the post like that is pretty much an untouchable shot. So Gonzaga's going to wish they had that tackle back, of course, and maybe a few more inches on their keeper.
Zach Ramsey scored in the national championship match last fall. Right at the end of that first half, he scored against University of San Diego in the 75th minute, their lone goal back on Thursday, and he adds to the tally here just 11 minutes into the match.
You know, and John, those are those little moments that kind of build throughout a game, but even more so throughout a season. You don't want to miss many of those, and you also don't want to give up too many more of those. It'll be very interesting to see how Gonzaga responds here. They better not sit back on their heels, and they better perk up a little bit. At the same time, you know UW's going to keep flying right at them.
Little flick there from Ramsey. Olsen got to it. Luan, such a physical presence up there, making himself felt. Able to find Carson Hammett, the transfer from UC Davis. Morgan Olsen on the turn. Just a couple steps too late. It's easily picked off, and now here comes the Huskies on the transition. Four bellowing into the box. Too far out in front. Preciado just trying to calm things down a little bit for the Zags. Ornecha with Hested all over him. Suzuki looking on the diagonal. Hammett unable to get to that one first, but does get the throw in for Gonzaga. Javar Robles out of San Jose, California, transfer from UNLV, where he started 12 matches last year. Still just a sophomore. Surveying is the Huskies happy to just cut off a few angles. Damani McKenna Down the line, too far in front of Olsen. Harrison Bertos comes over, collects and gets it restarted. And Abulele out of Texas, one of those few Huskies who's not from Washington, as he brings it forward. Finds Cameron Cruz. 3 to aim out in the box, going 1v1 on McKenna. And sliced it out, goal kick. There's a few names that you'll hear a lot tonight and wonder maybe why they're so good. We'll try to highlight that for you. For the University of Washington, they have 3 players who have already been drafted by Major League Soccer teams. And Top Drawer Soccer, who's kind of one of the preeminent ranking systems, has 3 of those players as the top 100 in the country. Harrison Bertos, center back, number 3, tops that heap. He's, I mean, whatever this is worth, if you're in that conversation, you know you're pretty darn good. But he's ranked 3rd in the entire country of players who are playing collegiate soccer right now. So some real talent. Alex Hall's another who's top draw number 12 in the country, and Zach Ramsey, the goal scorer, is on 3rd team. He's considered the top 27 in the country. So some impressive talent to return from that team that won last year.
And that's just a testament to what Jamie and the rest of his staff has done at University of Washington. They've created a culture and a winning environment, so they no longer have to recruit hard and heavy. I mean, I'm sure they work really hard at it, but it almost recruits for itself now that they've had that system in place. So again, just outstanding work by the staff to do that.
Jamie Clark, 12 NCAA appearances. So a consistent performance near the top of college soccer. It'll be a throw in deep down towards the river here off of Luger Field. As the lights are on now and the sun setting behind us.
Yeah, you can see a few people out there starting to put their jackets on.
For the first time for a while. It was almost 100 degrees this weekend, but now a comfy 85, 80 or so here. Ested down the line, finds the 1-2 with Ramsey. Alex Hall now. Hall finds Cruz, and sliding in is Hammond to take it away. Beautiful grass pitch here at Luger Field, resodded this summer to host the Egyptian national team as they trained for the World Cup and made Spokane their home base. So one of the best fields you're going to play on around the country right now, as it was water before the field and crisply allowing the ball to spring around. Into the feet of Ramsey, lumped away by Robles. Lawand able to come back and find Jeremy Onetcha, offering it back, and again a bit too far out in front. You can see some of the adrenaline. A lot of these through balls from Gonzaga just too far.
Yeah, I like the idea. I mean, you want them to keep feeding those balls, but as the night goes on, those legs are going to get heavier the more they're making those unnecessary runs. So they need to work on finding a healthy balance.
Now a chance to stretch forward a bit. And Lawand slips down but heads it from his stomach. Here's Jeremy Onetcha. Onetcha still with it and sends it wide. You got to feel good if you're Gonzaga seeing Jeremy Onetcha running one-on-one. That's where his talent really plays. But how about that header, Vito?
Unorthodox, but nonetheless effective.
It worked well. Michael Lawand, credit to him, he's earned the starting spot. A little bit of that is, I think, to keep Drew Peterson fresh coming off of the bench, but Lawand's taken advantage in the playing time he's had thus far in the preseason, and credit the Puyallup, Washington native, who will have a little added incentive too, playing against some Seattle brethren. Heltson got the head to it. Lawand's going to give chase. 2 Huskies are there. And in the end, Igor Akulov, the 5th-year senior, will just let it go out. Akulov, part of a defense last year that tallied 9 shutouts on the season. Hestad, Akulov, and Bertos were all pretty much mainstays on that back line last year. All trying to turn down the line. Gonzaga with arms raised, believed they won it, and they did. chance for Gonzaga to get up into the attacking third a little bit here. Carlson's ball was intercepted, but luckily for GU, right to Onyecha. A lot of space on the far side, this near side, compact with black jerseys. And Gonzaga will move it down the line like a NFC North football game here. This is the running attack, Vito.
Just as you mentioned those black jerseys, it's impressive what UW is doing. They're making it very claustrophobic as I look at it. Is it the black jerseys? Is it the way that they're playing? I think it's a little bit of both.
This will be a long throw opportunity. Damana McKenna all the way across to serve it in. Towards Halson, flicked on, flicked down. Luan had a chat at it. Deflected away. Perry Blay. And just as fast, UW on the counterattack. Cruz looking for the diagonal. Early ball. Blay was back, able to deflect it away to Onyecha. He scampers around as Hested loses the footing. Hested stayed alive with it, though. Got the better. Lost that first battle, but won the war.
A little more slipping out there than I expected from the field. We saw that a lot last year, but didn't see it too much on Thursday. So maybe it's this cool temps dropping all of a sudden.
Harrison Bertos out of Bedford, Massachusetts, scampering forward. Calling card of his game, the ability to go forward. That center back doesn't sit there very often. He's almost like an old school sweeper, like a Beckenbauer that used to come forward from the back line. Alex Hall, able to get past Blay, serves it in. Contact right at the edge of the 6. I think it was Sodvi had the offering. Just unable to get enough on it to turn it. You can see how dynamic Alex Hall is. Whenever he gets there, you bet on him finding a slight bit of space and serving it in. Onyecha forced to go back. Suzuki will try it over the top, and Luan gives chase. A little too far for short. In the end, Akulov had to deal with it, and he did. So you can hear head coach Jamie Clark of Washington saying, get it and move it. Doesn't like how stagnant it's looking for his men in black. Asher Asted, 56th overall pick in Major League Soccer this last year to the Colorado Rapids. So still kind of owned rights by the Rapids, but allowed to go back. One of those changes to the college soccer rules, which I think is a fantastic one. Instead of having somebody leave and not play, keep them playing here and developing, and then when they're ready, he could head right back to the Rapids. Sovdi. And not going to get it. Defended well by Robles. Vito, I love that rule. You see it all over college soccer now. Players who got drafted because they were honored for being as good as they are, and teams want them in the future. But it doesn't make any sense to have somebody sit the pine when they could be playing, improving, and still have that opportunity afterward.
Well, it just creates a lot of resentment within both environments, right? They have to sit there and pick and choose, and this offers a much more collaborative effort and better development for the players. So it's outstanding they've kind of finally have come to this conclusion.
Ramsey, beautiful first touch on the left. Tries it with the right. Preciado is there. Cut down the angle and made the stop block. The first touch there from Ramsey allowed him to get right on frame.
This is a true testament for Chema and just his ability to stay strong, big, and make the shooter, put all the pressure on the shooter here. He has to make a special shot to beat him.
Preciado, you can see his hands trying to get his team moving a little bit, get going. Ramsey, who took the shot, will be the service man. To the back post. A clump of defenders rising as well as attackers. Still alive, not out yet. Softy has it cleared away. I couldn't tell if it was a Husky who it came off of or Preciado, but Gonzaga survives.
Yeah, I wouldn't care either way as long as that thing is in the back of my net.
Preciado took a hit on the first one.
Almost lost it.
Halston was there. I think it probably did go off a Husky. It looked like a Kulov maybe, but Preciado was there. He'll tell you he had it covered.
Yeah, covered one way or the other. Shot stopped.
Kulov quickly over to Alex Hall. One of those players who was drafted already. Away by Robles. 5 players from that national championship team last year for the Huskies were drafted to Major League Soccer. 3 of them were able to return to the Huskies. A great testament to that change in ruling. Richie Amon to DC United, Zach Ramsey to Vancouver Whitecaps, Joe Dale to the Seattle Sounders. Dale and Amon were the only 2 that are gone. And then Hestad and Lofi. Excuse me, it wasn't Alex Hall. Connor Lofi in the middle was drafted last year. In a lot of ways, you know, we talk about Washington with all the clout and all the appreciation for their skill set, but a great opportunity, Vito, if you're Gonzaga, to test yourself against the best, find out where you're at in a program that is rebuilding with a new head coach, trying to be a bit more like their crosstown or cross-state rivals, and this gives them a litmus test.
Yeah, it's always something special when you're going up against a defending national champion. I remember we did that in 2007 against UC Santa Barbara. And it doesn't matter what the other team has done, you just go out and play, have fun with it, and I believe that year we walked away with a win.
Good first touch, little feint to the left and then pulled back from Cruz. He's still striking through. Blay's gonna chase this down. Got Onecha down the line. Onecha, a little heel flick, but dangerous. A risky one that goes right to Cruz. Robles able to block. Al Hamid trying to find an inch of space to release it to Olsen. Couldn't do it eventually, though. Does retain possession for Gonzaga. Galtson only as far as Hall, and now the Huskies right back at it with Ramsey. Ooh, over the top, painful one for Zach Meyer. He's frustrated, but Hammond didn't really do anything. He just stood his ground. I don't think any real malicious intent there. It doesn't feel good, but probably unnecessary afterwards. Meyer feels like that was an intent to hurt him, but I think clearly showed it wasn't. Zach Meyer out of Kirkland, Washington. Olsen over the top. Michael Luan has a one-on-one for a moment, although 5 Huskies back immediately. Luan will try to serve. It's deflected over, was it? Yeah, corner. Set pieces, critical opportunities for Gonzaga, who are not going to see as much possession likely tonight. If they can get forward here and generate something, good opportunity. Suzuki, pretty good player, pretty big player from the midfield coming forward. As is Sam Dolan. Damani McKenna. Few options for service in white. It's Robles over there who's got the left foot in-swinging offering. Luan was shouting to wait, but they took it anyway. Morgan Olsen. Now Robles. And headed away by Enabulele. Washington really pressing high, putting the back line for Gonzaga under pressure. No time to just sit and evaluate what they've got. Play looking right towards the center backs for the Huskies, who easily collect it. Akulov off his head, and now here comes Washington. Substitution readying for Gonzaga, and I think we will see Drew Peterson. So the intentional sub, just kind of delaying that talent. Vito, take me through the mindset of Chris Magahi in holding out their star striker until the 29th minute.
Well, I mean, Drew put in quite a shift in that Thursday night game, so he definitely might have had some heavier legs. I think also if you can show up to a match and play with, maybe almost close to your full squad and do pretty well, and you have that extra bit of firepower to just come on in and give another guy some time off, I mean, that's an outstanding balance. And so Chris, I think, is getting this one right. And kind of a moment to inject some energy into the group, which, if I'm being critical, they need that right now.
A lot of injuries with this Gonzaga team right now, so not at real full strength. Not as many dice to be throwing if you're the coach trying with some different strategic ideas. There's a look at Peterson. One of the things you're going to see with him is the same thing you saw with Luan, the ability to chase and the willingness to run.
And that's what's nice about the ability to sub as they do in the college game, is you can have guys just go full tilt for 20, 30 minutes, and they can come take a break, and it really helps the player develop.
Suzuki, a little nod on, just a freshman, but experienced. Grew up playing in the Buckwood Football Academy, kind of through the high school age, and then was signed for the Poland Premier League. Played for U19s, but is part of a professional organization there. So young but wise legs, I would say. Igor Akulov. Oh, it just took a bobble right before he launched it and absolutely shanked towards the Gonzaga bench. Suzuki, a little shrug, and acted up a bit by Connor Lofi, the senior trying to take advantage of the freshman there.
And that shank is a perfect example of what Peterson brings to this group. He continues the pressure, and, if he had not made that run towards him, maybe he wouldn't have shanked that. But he felt the energy of Peterson coming, breathing down his neck.
Here's Anna Bulele scampering into the box. Flicked up, contact, but really close to Dolan. Would have been harsh to call a handball there. Still with Washington. Hall to the left foot. Yeah, not as comfortable as the right. Talked about fresh legs. University of Washington's going to bring in some fresh legs here in just a moment. Looks like we'll have Kevin Hernandez along with Wyatt Lewis. And who is the other? Jake Goding. Goding with an impressive performance against San Diego the other day. Hit the crossbar and the upright, both in that match. Unable to score, but showed how dangerous he could be.
And when I was talking to Jamie before the game,
as it's quickly turned over, Ramsey on the turn. Looking out to Goding. Able to sneak inside, get past two. Can he get past the third? Laid it off. Olsen only got a partial clearance. And eventually Hammond helps out with Olsen, and Gonzaga can clear it. Haltison launching forward to Drew Peterson. The Lake Oswego native able to turn the corner. Now can he find anyone? That might be a corner kick. It looked like Bertos might have rolled over it on his back, but in the end, goal kick. Vito, you were starting to say in your conversation, let's take a look at this here and then we'll get to that. You can see Goding just weaving between white jerseys. And in the end, couldn't quite connect up. Also Kevin Hernandez, who just came on from Sunnyside High School out of the Sunnyside, Washington area.
Yeah, what I was going to say is I was talking to Jamie before the game, and Jake Goding is a player that he has pinpointed as a high-quality player. He's put up some impressive numbers in the preseason, expected goals, won a game. And so this is a young man that, you know, even though he hasn't started, is one that is looked at highly and productively for his time here at UW.
And here he is, a 6'3" freshman. Akulov deals with it. Asher Hestet. Chest down by Zach Ramsey. Poked away by the Icelander for Gonzaga. Galtison. Robles. Good vision to find Damani McKenna. McKenna, formerly of Highline Community College, area just south of Seattle, before transferring to Gonzaga. Suzuki scampering forward, but didn't quite float far enough to him. Al Peterson able to apply some pressure. Lofi quicker to react. Beautiful first touch to collect it and retain for a moment from Wyatt Lewis. Transfer out of Notre Dame. Here's Goding. Back to Lewis. Now Lofi. And Bertos. That wrapped wrist. Cruz. 1v1 with Damani McKenna. Clever to earn the corner kick. You can hear the applause. That was from the Gonzaga bench. Nice 1v1 defending. Not allowing the cross to come in, but I think the Huskies will be happy to get a corner. Not the biggest back line that you're going to see, but a lot of aerial threat from this group. Bertos scored 3 goals last year. 1 goal for Akulov. Certainly the set pieces are going to be the best opportunity for those two. Service in low, took an immediate deflection. Still lumped into the box and poked in. 2-0. And there's that man, Harrison Bertos. Gemma Preciado says, take a look at it. But the quickest to react was the senior leader, Harrison Bertos, makes it 2-0 to Washington.
Yeah, this will be a tough one to watch on the replay. Hopefully we can see that soon. Just inability to kind of get it out and just away, and it's just bobbling. I mean, a few missed opportunities to clear it. I mean, UW did an excellent job of crowding that box and making it tough on Gonzaga. I don't actually know what Preciado is looking for there, but you know, he felt it different, which most goalkeepers do if they get scored on.
Preciado was still holding the ball before finally lumping it forward. He's frustrated. Maybe he was considering a handball or something. It was one of those, that height where it was a little too low for a header clearance, a little too high to just get a boot on it. You could see 2 Zag defenders tried to lean down, and neither of them got a good deflection. In the end, the Huskies a little quicker to pounce on it and take advantage. Now can they make it 3? Ramsey denied by Preciado. Is the shout relax there, Vito? I mean, he's definitely urging his team on. The leader stepping up here.
I mean, this is a big-time save. I mean, this is, again, a testament of what he is and what he's done in this program, is that just gave up a goal, just came up big. I mean, didn't let it phase him.
Gonzaga reeling here. The Huskies are looking for another. As this is deflected, Preciado will gobble it up. But it's all Washington right now.
I mean, I agree with everything that Preciado is doing. I think the only thing is, I think you nodded on it, was relax. I don't know if I want my team relaxing right now. I want bigger energy. I want more hunger to tackle, to get this ball out of here, and let's get into their half.
Yeah, the word that comes to my mind, Vito, is urgency. And you saw it on that last goal. The Huskies were throwing themselves at the ball where Gonzaga was kind of being patient and not the time for it. That's, I think, the challenge in a match, especially a rivalry, is having that level of urgency and yet the composure when you get the ball to play. And being able to do both is a real talent.
Yeah, you don't want that urgency creeping into anxiety. That's when mistakes start and you don't think clearly.
Back at it is Goding. Jake Goding! Blocked by Dahlin, cleared by Robles. Hammond knocked it back to Olsen. Peterson may have been offsides. Yeah, the flag is raised. This University of Washington team certainly payback on their minds for the match on Thursday. They lost 2-1 to the University of San Diego at home. In that match, though, a couple goals that came, one off a cross from the corner and the other from a kind of awkward giveaway near their back line. And that was pretty much it. The shots were 16-6 in favor of Washington, who just couldn't get the second tying goal late. But they're going to feel like they've got some unfinished business after match one and taking it out here on the Bulldogs. Neither of these two teams have won a match yet this season. It was a draw in the first game for Gonzaga against the University of Fordham here at Luger Field. 0-0 in that one. Gonzaga went down a man with about 20 minutes left to go and held on for the point. Here's Jeremy Onetsha. Hested ushers him out. And we'll have a substitution here for Gonzaga. Coming on, Carter Bonold, as well as the junior Chase Potter in the midfield. So Suzuki will make way. And Onetsha makes way. Here's Asher Hested. Just too far out of the outstretched Wyatt Lewis. Lewis, a fifth-year senior, the transfer from Notre Dame. We talk about experience, so much of it, but now with transfers, they picked up a couple more experienced players to round things out. Short being one of those who didn't collect it too cleanly, but got the job done. He's a senior as well. Already graduated from Utah Tech, working on his post-grad. Hested down the line to Jake Getting out of Berkeley, California. Connor Lofi. Lofi was actually sick in the College Cup. The morning of the match was throwing up and still tough enough to come out and win a national championship back in that freezing Cary, North Carolina weather. That one deflected out by Sam Dahlin. Had to do it. Dangerous right in front of his goal, but concedes the corner. Last 5 minutes of action here in the first half. Gonzaga holding on to stay within potential comeback range for the second half here. Ramsey hopes his Huskies can finish it off. To the back post. And over everybody's head. Bertos was whipping the leg around to try to turn it in. You know your service is good when you're a center forward and they take you out to cross balls, take corners and all that. I mean, at first I saw that and I thought, what are they doing? And then you see, oh, it's because he can put it on a dime. Stick with us here at halftime. We're going to talk to Coach McGahee in an interview I did before the match to talk to him about his team and expectations and the new Pac-12. A lot of excitement here within the Gonzaga Bulldogs program. We'll talk about that. We'll show you highlights and catch up on stats from the match. So we'll get a quick refreshment and meet you back here for halftime. It just floats through. Robles was alert, and the whistle comes. It looked like he clearly poked the ball away, But Sergey Chalan immediately points to the penalty spot. Scott Chavira Robles got on the wrong side of him, Vito. Well, let's take a look. What do you see?
Yeah, this is just lack of composure. He's not threatening the goal. Yes, he's inside the 18, but just move the feet around, seal him away from it. But that little bit of a shove in today's game is going to equate to him hitting the ground. And
a little decision of risk versus reward there. The risk was giving up a PK to try to challenge there. The reward might just have been better off to wait and channel it, get back around. But we will have a coach's challenge here. Again, a lot of changes to some of the rules in college soccer over the last few years. One of them was the addition of VAR, video assistant referee. And then the tweak this year is that coaches get 2 challenges each. And we'll look at the same stuff that they're going to look at. This is one of those, Vito, that it's really a judgment, subjective call. And if there is an actual contact, as long as it's not completely missed, you're not really going to change the call.
yeah, I mean, that's just a young player, just not shuffling his feet all the way around to, again, to seal him off from the goal. He didn't need the tackle. He didn't need any contact. He just needs to close that space off.
Well, the decision was a quick one, and Sergey Chalan is back out, already done looking at the video, which I think means that call will stand. He's talking to Chris Magahi now, who doesn't like it. I think the argument for Magahi is that the contact was created by the Husky rather than the Bulldog, but I'm not sure it necessarily matters at this point. It is confirmed it will be a penalty, and Chema Preciado, who saved a PK against Fordham on Thursday, is going to be called up again.
And again, it does feel extremely unfair. I'm sure Gonzaga would feel a little bit different. It was the shoe was on the other foot and they were receiving the penalty. Those are just moments of the game that matter. You have to have a little bit more composure, down 2 goals. You can't be as risky with your tackles, and certainly not inside the 18.
So Zach Ramsey already with 1 goal on the board in the 11th minute. We'll take the left-footed PK. Ramsey makes it 3. And the fair amount of Husky fans in the crowd cheer and applaud on the far side of the field. Preciado, nothing he could do as Ramsey sent him the wrong way and tucked it into the bottom corner. Ramsey with his hips going left here and then able to knock it home back to the right. So Gonzaga with an uphill battle. The score last year when Gonzaga played in Seattle was 3-0. 2 goals that day. The first career brace for Alex Hall in that matchup. Nick O'Brien, the 5th-year senior for the Huskies, was the other one who scored in that game. Same scoreline here with still a little over 45 minutes left. Olsen to Hammond. Able to get off the cross. Peterson was there, almost floated to the backside. Morgan Olsen, good composure to evade 1 challenge, but helped out and cleared away as the Huskies defended as a group. I think what you're hearing across that is the Spokane Velocity 509 Syndicate, so the local USL 1 soccer team here in town. Has a fan base with drums and songs, and they came out for the big event tonight. And it certainly adds a nice atmosphere here at Luger Field.
Yeah, it's awesome to see those guys. And you even see, I believe I see a guy with a UW shirt on.
Yeah.
He's joining in. I mean, it's just, it's good vibes. It's good energy. It's fun to see that, and I'm glad the 509 Syndicate has created that group, and they're wanting to come out to these other events.
Preciado too far away for him to go. Flag is raised. Acrobatic clearance from Perry Blaze, but won't matter. As The run was offsides. You can see just how dangerous the Huskies are on these set piece opportunities, pouring players forward and testing the back line. So that's going to do it here from the first half. Gonzaga fighting strong, but Washington able 3 times to pierce the net and takes a sizable lead to halftime here at Luger Field. Like we said, come back with us at halftime. We're going to have highlights from the first half stats and hear from the headman of the Gonzaga Bulldogs. You're watching Pac-12 Soccer on YouTube. Welcome back to Spokane, Washington, home of the Gonzaga Bulldogs. We're at halftime where Gonzaga trails 3-0 to the University of Washington. 2 goals from Zach Ramsey and 1 from Harrison Bertos, enough to give the Huskies the lead. Well, I caught up before the match to talk to head coach of Chris McGahee, who now in his 2nd season at the helm of the Zags is building a program here in Spokane. Well, Coach, last season started off, with some challenges, but finished with a 5-1 win over LMU. So some nice momentum to come into this year. I'm curious where you feel like the expectations are and the momentum as you head into a whole new year.
Yeah, I mean, at last year was an interesting one. I think we were very up and down the whole season, and it was great to end it the right way, right? With a 5-1 win and a dominating performance, which was good for obviously the departing seniors. But leading into this year, obviously we have a new conference to look forward to. We have a lot of new faces, so there's certainly expectation from us as a staff and myself as I bring in kind of my own players and kind of put my own print on the program. But for us, success is winning games. We want to compete at the highest level. We want to play in the national tournament. We want to win conferences. So obviously with our strength of schedule this year and we're putting our guys in a situation where we can go play some good games and be ready come conference.
What
So.
excites you about this team? You've got some experience, some newcomers. We can talk about them specifically, but just as a group, what's exciting you right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a fun group to work with. I know a lot of coaches say that, certainly early on this season, but honestly, it's the best group that I've worked with. Everybody gets on, but there are standards being held by the leaders of the group and even the younger guys coming in, and it's a fun group to work with. They're hard working. They ask really good questions on the training field, and a lot of good video sessions, and they want to learn. I think as a coach, for to have players that can be coachable, is a lot of fun, right? And getting the guys, putting them in a situation where we can go and be successful, and seeing parts of it come together is a fun bit.
You've got some leaders, some seniors. We haven't seen that in a lot, in the past, where we've got Preciado, Peterson, Dallin, Olsen. Tell me a little bit about the leadership in this group.
Yeah, I mean, they're all strong. They've all played a lot of college games, right? We look at the way the college sports are changing. Almost feels like every week at this point. We have the opportunity to have a lot of older players on the squad, and for us, we ask a lot from our older guys, the experience that they need to give to our younger guys, but I think that most of it is leading by example on the field. How they train day in, day out. It's not just about how you communicate maybe on game day and the team talks and stuff like that. It's how the younger guys watch them on their daily kind of routine, how they get prepared for training, how they ask their questions that they need to ask, and again how they take some coaching from me. Right,
sure.
I would be lying if I wasn't if I didn't say that I don't coach them the hardest, because it's an important piece of it. But again, I get to leave a lot to those guys just because I trust them. And we talk within our group this year. It's a lot about trust. How we play, you have to trust each other. You have to trust the coaching staff. You have to trust the process. So for us, it's all about trust, and I give them a lot. They take on a lot, but they're doing a great job. So
finally, the interim tag released last year.
Yeah.
You got to be easier to go on the road and recruit when they know you're going to be here. So tell me about, and for fans of Gonzaga soccer, what's the Magahe style? What should they expect from newcomers, players, and the style of this team?
Yeah, great question. I think I want to play exciting brand of football. I mean, plain and simple. I think first and foremost, to represent this program, you have to be hardworking. It's a blue collar sort of thing for me. I think we have to always be the hardest working team on the field. I want to play exciting brand. I want to go score goals. I want to be really, really tight at the back. Certainly for me, I was a goalkeeper when I played, so clean sheets are really important to me.
Of course.
But I want to let our guys express themselves. I think, certainly for me in the recruiting process with a lot of these newcomers, and certainly the guys that we retained, it's a lot of just letting them be the player that they are, right? Like, it's my job to help them. It's not my job to tell them, we have to do that. They're not robots, So allowing them to express themselves the right way on the field. Of course, there's a structure to things, and we're big on that. We're big on how we want to come out with energy, how we press, how we maybe get into our mid-block. There's things that we have to do really well, but whenever we have possession of it, and certainly going into the final third, we want to be an exciting team. We want to score goals, create chances, and be a team that a lot of these fans come back and watch and then have a good time watching, right? So that's the goal.
Fantastic. Well, it's fun to see it at the start as you're building a new program here at Gonzaga. Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right.
Well, certainly the program on the build, and Magahe, the man at the helm. We'll take a quick break here. We'll be back to show you highlights, and there were a lot of them from the first half of action. Welcome back to a beautiful sunset over the skies of Spokane, Washington. John Billings alongside Vito Higgins at the half. The Huskies with a 3-0 lead over the Bulldogs. It was a battle throughout the first half, but that battle was really in favor of the Huskies. It started off here, Vito, this foul where Dahlin came in a little too late and gave a really great chance. And you don't give chances to guys like Zach Ramsey and live to talk about it.
No, and that's a perfect example. Maybe the anxiety was flowing a little bit too much, the eagerness, and obviously a poor time tackle. He went for it, didn't come out his way, and UW capitalized. Good on them.
Gonzaga had a few chances to get forward, not that many really, and then it was the Huskies who made it too. It just pounced a little quicker on this than Gonzaga.
Yeah, and again, they had anxiety on one end of it. Maybe this is a little too much flat-footed. They didn't get that ball out clear enough.
Harrison Bertos, the star, was able to put that one away, and then Zach Ramsey allowed to go back to the penalty spot after the foul, and he made it count.
And those are just moments of composure. I think in all three of those, just moments of composure. And those are little mistakes that go long ways, specifically in games like this, but they'll count later on in the season. They need to fix that.
The top teams make you pay for your mistakes, and certainly the Huskies did that to Gonzaga. 2 goals on just 3 shots. Ramsey off to another hot start with 3 goals on the young season so far, and you see 10-2 the shots. And Gonzaga really unable to get into the attacking third. So look for them to see what they can do to open things up and get forward a few more players. Vito, how does Gonzaga find the opportunities going forward?
First, the energy. They need to bring a lot of energy. They need to remind themselves that it's not 3-0, it's 0-0. There's another half. As UW scored 3, Gonzaga can score 3. And then they just need to be composed when defending and quick on their attack.
We'll take another quick break here. We'll be back with the second half right around the corner. Huskies up 3-0. Being here tonight thus far, but I'm sure a few Huskies out there are smiling wide. Pac-12 soccer here on YouTube. Ironically, if you've been a longtime Husky and Gonzaga fan, the Pac-12 is now the Gonzaga Conference as the University of Washington plays in the Big Ten, which doesn't have 10 teams. But we'll look that up later.
College is a weird world nowadays.
It really is. Ever-changing landscape. All right, second half of play underway. Gonzaga, all white, will go from left to right. Under the lights here at Luger Field. Washington from right to left and in possession. Laffy has it dispossessed. Drew Peterson, who didn't start the match, does start the second half. Ball slipped through to Getting. Has it blocked on the way. Getting appealing for a handball, won't get it. Kind of a mixture of lineups for University of Washington, similar to how they finished, but a couple tweaks. Alex Hall on the left side now. Getting stayed in and is up top next to Ramsey. And here is Zach Ramsey, 2 goals in the first half. Now trying to play provider. Play was there and earns the goal kick. For Gonzaga, Jelle Van Dyke in the midfield next to Hjaltason in that holding midfield role. A couple adaptations on the left side. Ronald, the freshman out of Frisco, Texas, remains in as he came in near the end of the second half. He's playing on that left wing. Meyer able to win the head. Here's Harrison Bertos, scored off the melee in the box after a corner kick in the first half. Scored the game winner in the national championship game a year ago. In overtime, kind of a similar goal actually, poked it in near the 6-yard box. Ramsey comes back. A shout of left-footed from Gonzaga. They know you got to keep him off that left boot. Little touch there. Meyer will try it. And it bounced right in front of Preciado. Not an easy save.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been on the losing side of a shot like that. I believe it was against Portland, but good composure by UW to kind of fake that. And then it looked like it took a little bit of a deflection, but hard to see. Preciado did well.
Peterson all the way deep. Now able to look back to Morgan Olsen. He'll try. No, the pass out to Hammond. Driven low and cleared away by Bertos, excuse me. Getting maybe a little too much for Ramsey. Dolan came forward and got the touch. Jelle Van Dyke, the Dutchman, able to restart it for Gonzaga. Peterson couldn't yo-yo that back to him. Gonzaga, concerted effort to get a few more numbers forward and together. It's not just been Drew Peterson at the start of the second half, and now deep into the attacking territory, a set piece from the throw-in. Damani McKenna will take this like a corner kick. Peterson and Jelle Van Dyke, the near post targets. Peterson trying to get a flick. 4 Zags there, and Olsen sends it wide off the deflection. Corner kick. Drop to just the player you'd want if you're a Bulldogs fan. They're a creative midfielder.
I mean, he did a good job to bring that down and hit it first time.
The throw-in is such a different trajectory. It's hard to kind of gauge like they would with a whipped-in cross. And it's hard to get enough power to clear it.
Especially with all those bodies bouncing off of each other. It's very awkward.
Olsen will give. Dolan was rising, and he's appealing for a corner. They'll say last touch off the Zags. First time on the season for Gonzaga fans to see Carter Bernold on that left wing, freshman out of Frisco, Texas, home of FC Dallas. And the high pressure yields the ball back to the boys in white.
Yeah, Gonzaga is showing up with some energy. It's nice to see that, especially after the first half went the way that it did. But you can tell UW isn't backing down. There's just still plenty of intensity left.
Getting tried to thread the needle as Preciado was coming out. He slipped for a moment, able to recover his balance and collect it. You can really see Getting played 50 minutes against USD. He's just a freshman, so not getting the starts yet, but when he comes in, he stays in. Dynamic, bigger player for an attacking-minded guy, which adds a little extra something in there as well.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Getting. Jamie hit it right on when we talked earlier. Just a quality player, someone definitely to keep your eyes on.
Monty McKenna able to come back, get his foot in front of the challenge and earn a free kick for Gonzaga. What did Jamie Clark have to say about him that he liked so much?
Just that he was consistent with putting up numbers, that you can rely on him to get shots on goal. He was creative, being a bigger player. Hard to handle, deal with, as you can tell. He's very shifty. But again, the biggest takeaway is that you can count on him for stats, for those XGs, for those moments. He broke it down to a goal a game, essentially. And so those are numbers that are going to count in the long run. It's really going to help sustain their attacking efforts.
Here's Bernold. Able to flick it back to Blay coming inside. Hammond's got a couple meters of space here. If he can get it collected, does so. Got a 1v1 with Meyer. Just trying to get a little more space for the cross. In the end, couldn't do it. Now Damani McKenna will give it a shot. And lumped away by the sophomore. Ella Van Dyke will rise. Chase Potter. Still Chase Potter. Allowed time. Bertos with the diving header to clear it. Yella Van Dyke had a pop-up and handball. And just like that, Huskies go the other way. Getting, trying to release the run of Zach Ramsey. Preciado alert. And it falls free to Alex Hall. 2 goals against Gonzaga last year in that matchup back in September. The shout from Jamie Clark, you have to respect the ball. You can see how demanding he is, that his team retains the level of intensity, doesn't drop the focus and give it away. I think that's the kind of elite nature that he's demanded from his program.
And he's always been that way, which has always been something I've been impressed with and have looked up to Jamie as, you know, a fellow coach that coached alongside him in the world of soccer. I mean, they could easily take a backseat approach to the rest of this game, and no, they're turning up the volume.
3 Pac-12 titles, 3 straight quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament. This University of Washington program, which honestly has been on the rise, I think equal with the Seattle Sounders coming to Seattle. You can see all of the local talent in Washington. I think a lot of it's been there, but things like the Sounders Academy and Crossfire ECNL, there's so much talent within the youth programming there now too, that it's producing the kind of talent that you can just recruit from your home state and be that good. But now the best players want to stay there too. And I think that's been a difference maker that he's brought to Montlake.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just the machine that they've created as a university, but also as a community of Seattle. I mean, just with all the outstanding clubs, the pro team, it's a really fun place to be. It's always enjoyable to go over there and coach there as well as play there, so they've done a really good job over on that west side.
Damani McKenna, he's from Bainbridge Island, right off of Seattle. He launches it in. It's punched by Short, not completely cleared. McKenna will loop it in. He might have a third try at it. Gonzaga unable to break the seal here, but knocking on the door. Again, it's Drew Peterson with the long throw option. Well, they'll go short to Yellow Van Dyke this time. Nice little layoff from Olsen. Sam Dolan, a good touch to settle it. Dolan with the bright orange boots finds an equally bright orange boot of Morgan Olsen. You can see much higher pressure from Gonzaga. This time it's Chase Potter doing so. Hall able to immediately settle things down. Wyatt Lewis, nice job just to allow University of Washington forward now. The nature of getting transfers in now too, coaches can just fill that little gap instead of having to recruit and maybe wait 2 or 3 years for somebody to mature. You can say, hey, I got this position I need now. I get a 5th-year transfer from Notre Dame like Wyatt Lewis. Chase Potter helps it along right side. Carson Hammond back to the right foot, but a toe poke from Zach Meyer did the job. Meyer just one start last year as a freshman. Did play in 18 matches though, so he got a lot of minutes. His only start was against UCLA. Played 89 minutes in that one. Part of the Crossfire ECNL, and he was a national champion with that team. So comes from pedigree of playing at a high level and expected to win out of Kirkland, Washington. Damani McKenna on the turn. Can he get to the corner? Meyer shows impressive speed. Not many can chase down Damani McKenna. Well, Gonzaga in their second match of the season, as we take another look at Carson Hammond before Meyer got the better of him. First match of the year was a tie, 0-0 against Fordham. And they've got this here, and then we'll go on the road. A couple more at home, I should say, against Utah Tech and then Northwest before going on the road against Creighton in September. For the University of Washington, they're next up at home in Seattle against the Portland Pilots at a Thursday matchup, August 27th. Still seems strange to me, Vito, to be talking about the Pac-12 and have a game with the University of Washington, but it's not them in the Pac-12, right? So many years you've talked about Pac-8, Pac-10, Pac-12, and Washington was always so proud of that, and now they're the ones that aren't. This one drops back, floated in from Chase Potter. Header one by Arkulov. University of Washington picked to finish first in the preseason polls of the Big Ten. Maryland second, Indiana, UCLA, and then Michigan to round out the top 5. Vito, you wonder how that opening season loss to San Diego will help or hurt Washington. I mean, you're coming off the national championship. It's kind of natural to assume there'd be a little bit of a lack of focus. Maybe that loss just erases that immediately and gets this group dialed in for the season. Did Jamie Clark have thoughts on that, and what is your thought as a coach? How would you see that opening of the season?
Yeah, when I talked to Jamie, I mean, it's obviously not something you want to take on, but it's easier to take on earlier in the season. But he was very, very sincere about not letting it add up.
As that goes out for a corner.
And not let too many of those moments happen, because he shared last year is that they kind of hit a little bit of a rough patch, and they were on the cusp of making it into the tournament. But then, you know, that's those little moments. You make it in, and you go on a run, you get a hot streak, and next thing you know, you're national champion. So in this moment right now, he was very sincere about letting that just push to the side, moving forward. Clearly they have with a 3-0, first half result. It looks like they're very secure now, and it's just making sure those moments don't build on each other throughout the next 6 to 8 weeks.
I should correct myself. I said corner, I meant goal kick. It's fascinating to see the mental coaching that it takes after such a giant performance in the national championship. A chance now falls to the feet of Alex Hall, and Preciado is alert. It's just natural human tendency, right? You achieve your giant goal, first men's championship for the University of Washington in program history. As we take a look at that Preciado save. It's going to be hard to come back and have the same vigor, if you will. But we heard Jimmy Clark shouting at his team, respect the ball, like respect every minute, the elite expectation. If somebody's going to be able to keep that high level, you'd imagine it would be him and his program.
Absolutely. And that's an excellent word that he uses, respect. You got to respect the game. This game can give you so much, and it can be so vicious at the same time. It can give you a breath of life and take it away at any moment. So it's just, he does an outstanding job, and it's truly impressive what he's done there. To touch on that national champion, it's what you aim for, but it's almost, a blessing and a curse, because now it's the true test to a successful program is how many times can you be repetitive with it. Can you stay around the head of the curve? So it'll be interesting this year to see what Jamie and his staff does. So far, I'd say I'm impressed with them.
A lot of returning talent to this team. 3 people that were probably the biggest departures were Richie Amon, the number 8 overall Major League Soccer pick to DC United. Goalkeeper Jaden Belton, and then Joe Dale also drafted to the Sounders. So you're losing some pretty impressive players, but it's not a long list. They have a lot of players that came back. Some good transfers, obviously some good freshmen that we've seen here tonight. Here's Carson Hammond. Been bright, able to create a lot for Gonzaga tonight. Hasn't had the final touch yet. Lumped away by Arkalov. Well read by Sam Dolan.
Yeah, and being a goalkeeper, it was exciting to see that Jaden landed at such a good program. He's a local talent here in Spokane. I watched him grow up. There's actually another local boy out there in the pipes for UW, Kenny Pierpoint. So great, 2 outstanding, and it's just a testament to what Spokane has done as a youth program. They've worked really hard. We have a bunch of shadow teams out there. My U19 boys team is out there right now watching this game, and these games are what really instill that drive for players to continue on to the next level. So, this is outstanding that we have that support.
Olsen giving chase into the corner. He did keep it in. Chance to look up for Getting. Looks for Zach Ramsey. Preciado way off his line. He's not going to get there. Can Robles block it? Or does Ramsey make it 4? And it's a hat trick for Zach Ramsey, who showed this pace and the poise.
And I think right there is just a reason why they're defending national champions. You can see the pace. You can see them running. Preciado did an okay job of making that decision coming out, but unfortunately just could not get enough to it.
This is not an easy finisher, Vito. With the defenders, 2 of them there, he's got to put pace on it. He's more comfortable with his left foot, so Ramsey hit it with the outside of the left. I said poise, but the precision, the ability, that's beyond an average college level player. You can understand why he's been drafted already into Major League Soccer, showing Zach Ramsey's one of the best goal scorers in the country.
And it doesn't look like he's breaking much of a sweat.
64th minute, and it's a hat trick for Ramsey already. Well, sometimes you read about players that are highly touted, and then you watch and you kind of wonder what makes them so good. When you watch the highlights of the University of Washington, it'll take you about 30 seconds to recognize Ramsey. He's just around. He's involved in every attack. He's service for free kicks. He gets on the end of long balls like he just did there. He's good with the ball at his feet. He's a complete player.
He definitely has a very strong, confident poise about him. Kind of reminds me a little of Jordan Morris, the Seattle Sounders. He's got a little bit of a structure like him, kind of moves a little bit like him. I remember Jordan down in Stanford. Went down there and, Jordan did his thing against us, so.
When I was with the Sounders U23, Jordan Morris was there, and he was different. He was a spectacular collegiate player, and it turned it into a pretty good pro career. You're right, the stature is kind of similar, kind of that short neck, hunched shoulders. The speed is clear. Ramsey with just 3 shots and had 4 goals. Incredible performance so far.
Yeah, I'd like to say he's built a little bit more like a bulldog, but clearly he is a husky. So, again, hats off to Jamie and the staff for retaining him.
Ramsey out of Redmond, Washington, another local product. If you put both of these two teams together, and I should have the stat, I'm sure it's 20 plus players from the state of Washington amongst these two teams. So like you said, Vito, it really is kind of a celebration of soccer here. This is as big of a crowd as we've had at Luger Field in quite a while. And there are a ton of youth soccer players, from 10-year-olds all the way up to, like you said, your U19 group. And nothing like seeing top-level soccer to inspire you to be the next.
Yeah, and you even mentioned earlier with the 509 Syndicate, they're out here supporting soccer. Again, the Pacific Northwest is thriving with soccer spirit, and Spokane is only growing in that. We have a pro team now, and again, all the collegiate opportunities around here. And then we just got done with the youth tournament out at Plants Ferry. So it's a soccer weekend. Everyone's hungry for it, and we're clearly not done even on a Sunday night.
High pressure there from Meyer, able to earn a corner kick for the Huskies. Zach Ramsey is the short offering. No Zags out there with him now. Now Blay and Olsen getting the shout to go nearby. 2 attackers with just 1 defender if the Huskies want to go short. Cruz will send it in. Arkulov able to retrieve it. All the way back to Zach Meyer. Floated towards Getty. Drew Peterson, the forward, having to come back to get a touch. A couple of subs waiting for the Huskies, and they're going to take the opportunity to get him in now. It'll be Cameron Cruz coming back on. And Emmett Lehman will come in for the first time. It looks like Alex Hall is going to make way, so Cruz on the left. Kind of a like-for-like swap there. And Zach Ramsey might have it shut down for the night. He comes off, and it lets the senior Emmett Lehman come on, the transfer from Point Loma Nazarene, native of Whidbey Island.
Yeah, and that's a tricky one. You have a player like Ramsey that's coming off, and he probably could give a few more. And do you preserve him? Do you let him keep feeding that energy that he has inside? That would be tough. I'm sure he wants to keep playing, and I'm sure Jamie wants to keep seeing him play, but smart to kind of make that adjustment.
Meyer on the near side has Kevin Hernandez in front of him, drops it back instead to Bertos. The Huskies look to switch.
And you can see Gonzaga really sitting in deeply here. It's, they're on their heels, and it'd be nice to see if they can get a little bit more forward momentum, make it more exciting, because otherwise it's going to be a long rest of this game.
Yellow Van Dyke back to Chema Preciado. And Dolan with the continual high pressure. Gonzaga is unable to break free right now. Gonzaga's got 4 players at half field looking to push a higher line and try to hold those outside backs home. But right now they just can't get the service. That high pressure is suffocating Gonzaga. So when Dahlin and company get the ball, they don't really have time to look up and release it.
Yeah, and when they do, it's kind of like you have 2 islands. You have the defensive island and the offensive island. There's this big space in the midfield that UW has done a really good job of choking and suffocating any type of opportunity there. So if Gonzaga can just string a few passes together and get that momentum flowing, I think they can maybe unlock the midfield, but they really haven't been able to with UW's high press.
Into the feet of Lehman for the first time tonight. Whidbey Island native off and running. Senior is met by the challenge of Perry Blay, and it will be a foul over to Gonzaga. Well, this Huskies team had the opportunity to have some fun, have some growth, have some learning this summer. They took a summer and went to Peru. Spent some time in Lima, got to climb Machu Picchu and compete in the international collegiate games in which they went undefeated. It's kind of a round robin structure, so they didn't win it. They got a bronze even though they didn't lose, but got to compete for our country, compete for themselves, and have a heck of a bonding experience going abroad. I think most programs have kind of a once every 4-year eligibility that if you've got the funds, you can do that. And this was their opportunity. Hested drops it back. And now to Asher Hested once again. The service too long. Dahlin away. Van Dyke helped it on. Berto says, I got it, and he took it back. Stockton Short's been good in goal tonight, Vito. It hasn't been tested too much. Like you said, a few goalkeepers on the roster, one being Kenny Pierpoint from Gonzaga Prep, locally here. Meyer all the way forward to Cameron Cruz. Senior out of Seattle looks to go around the corner. That's a battle of some serious pace between those two. Last touch off to Monty McKenna, and will be out for a corner.
Yeah, Jamie also shared that, you know, their goalkeeper pool that they have, one, they have an excellent goalkeeper coach, but their goalkeeper pool is very stable. You know, Jamie did share that, you know, as long as injuries, you know, knock on wood, don't happen, they're in a very secure spot and have a lot of depth there.
Washington will go short. Little 1-2. Hested. Henderson out to the left side to Lyman. Going 1v1. Gets to the byline. And it went over that line. And that'll give Gonzaga a chance to get Michael Luan back in the match along with Senshin Suzuki and Jeremy Onecha. And it'll be Peterson and Carter Branold and Morgan Olson who head to the sideline. Not with the two seniors, Olson and Peterson certainly would have wanted in this so far. Well, they've certainly put out the energy. All you can ask there. Branold, a little wry smile, not what he wants, I'm sure, but still happy getting his first minutes as a freshman here for the Zags. A little bit of a low head from Potter, but a high boot, and it'll be a free kick to GU.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few teams that are going to go undefeated in the entire college season. So it's, you know, when do you take that hit? You know, early in the season, later on. I mean, you never want to, but if you're going to, I'd say these are the moments to get it done with, and especially against an opponent against UW. You know, they're still playing well, just they haven't been able to capitalize.
For Gonzaga, they're going to learn from this. We've got a lot of experience in this team. In fact, 18 upperclassmen, 4 fifth-year seniors, 10 seniors, and 4 juniors. to go with 6 sophomores and 4 freshmen. So 18 that are juniors or more experience. They're going to build from this. There's still a lot of newcomers with the transfers, like Perry Blay, like Robles, like Hammond. A lot of this starting lineup. There's a turnover. Can he get himself on the scoreboard? He's got Dolan with him. Blay was recovering, and Perry Blay chipped it over the bar. And a high five from Preciado to his left back to appreciate the effort.
Yeah, excellent recovery, but these are the moments. These are the little mistakes that just compound on each other. So excellent recovery by Gonzaga to make sure that doesn't fall in the back of the net. But that turnover, unnecessary, and just a little lack of composure.
Flicked on by Van Dyke, will go out for a throw-in. And some fresh legs coming back on for University of Washington. And Abulele will come back in. Chad Sovdi, who started the match tonight, back in. And Callum Lugton, the transfer from Syracuse, in his first appearance tonight. Lugton out of Portland, Oregon, back to the Northwest. That'll be a long throw. Line drive throw-in. Knocked out as far as Hammond. And a touch back in from Kevin Hernandez. And Onecha will loop it away. The drums continue. The 509 Syndicate making it out to Luger Field tonight. Spokane Velocity fan support with drums and singing. Been a good atmosphere here, Vito. A lot of energy. You could feel it from the first touch, more than what we saw the other night when it was kind of a sparse crowd on a really hot day. A lot of Huskies happy here, but I think the majority, obviously, Gonzaga fans at the home match. So many people around this area are either, Zags or Huskies or Cougs. There's a smattering of allegiances.
Yeah, this rivalry definitely does not fall short when it comes to bringing the fans out. Again, it's a Sunday night. People are getting ready for work and school tomorrow, and here we are almost to a packed house watching, an excellent game of soccer.
Pretty cool. Good pressure from Gonzaga, earns back possession. Gonzaga last year, even with goals scored at goals against in the first half, but really struggled in the second half, giving up 20 to scoring 13 of their own. So far a much better second half than the first was for Gonzaga. And some building blocks for Magahi as he kind of establishes. If you listen to us at halftime and you heard my interview with him, I asked him, what's your style? Like, what is the Chris Magahi Gonzaga calling, and what can fans expect to see when they come out? And I think it's a mixture of that hard hat mentality. You're going to play hard as that ball flicked through, but the flag is up. Hard hat mentality, but he wants it to be entertaining. He wants to get forward. He wants to create opportunities. And you can't do that right out of the gate. You got to get the players that match that style. And now as the head coach with the interim tag lifted, he can get players that match that style, that want to play for him and are really his talent.
Yeah, you can already see in Thursday's night game against Fordham and even tonight's game, granted the score is not what they want it to be, Chris is already leaving an impression on this group. So it'll be exciting to see how the rest of the season goes. It is a hard environment to do when you're bringing in a bunch of transfers. And today's environment is really difficult to have culture and sustainability because there is so much movement.
Little contact here on the near side. Hammond was trying to get away, but kind of stepped on the Husky down on the ground. I think it was Cruz. No intent, as you can see the I'm innocent hands raised up. Just get another look at it here. Certainly a foul right there, but trying to get over, and the hand just came down there for a moment. A little dangerous here. foot didn't need to be there. Official was all over it.
Yeah, it was just one of those moments, probably a little frustration, not thinking clearly, unnecessary, but
yeah, now an apology there.
Definitely not an intentional, malicious event.
Good to see things moved on.
And you can't expect anything. I mean, this is a rivalry game,
yeah.
right? You're going to have some feistiness. This is two dogs in a dog fight. No one's going to lay down.
Cruz gets it in the box. It was blocked. Dolan got a touch. I think Robles may have as well. Shouts were from Gonzaga that it was a handball. In the end, Chad Sovdi able to retain possession. Suzuki able to reach that long leg out and block it away. McKenna forced to just clear it high up into the lights. Now Cruz deflected. That had eyes for the far corner, and it hit a teammate. Are they going to get a corner kick? I thought it hit off of, I think it was Lugton who had it there. Lugton was making a diagonal run. I thought it hit off his back, but it will be out for the Huskies. Everything going their way. Sovdi at the back post. Preciado. Down to Hernandez. Dancing to find space. Finds Emmett Lyman. Hested held his run onside. Lyman chopped it back. Impressive change of direction. He earns a throw. There's that last look at Preciado with the punch. Huskies trying to finish off an emphatic victory on the road. And victories on the road, something they're known for. To win the national title, they became the first team ever to win 6 straight away from home on the run of the College Cup tournament. A couple teams had done it before, winning 3 on the road or 4 on the road, but nobody had won all 6. They had to go to Oregon State, to SMU. The quarterfinals were at Stanford, the semifinal at Maryland, and then technically the championship game wasn't at NC State. It was in Cary, North Carolina, but that was like 5 miles away from campus. Basically, that was a home match as well. So an incredible effort to do all of that on the road.
Yeah, and most certainly in the college environment with away games are definitely the bread and butter. If you can take care of your away games and that RPI, the home games should take care of themselves. And then certainly when you're in the tournament, you got to keep that gravy train rolling when you're out there and hunting down those wins and results, which UW did.
This ball trickles over to Hammond. Looks up. Can't find anybody. He's got 2 defenders there, and Enabulele able to spring it free. Yellow Van Dyke read it well, though, and cuts it out. There'll be a couple more subs for University of Washington. Gabe Fernandez, the junior defender, coming on. And it looks like he'll come in for Asher Hested and give Hested the break. And Carter Gay also. So Gay will go out to the right side for Hested. And Meyer comes off, and it'll be Fernandez on the near side. So check that. Gabe Fernandez will go in at left back. Yeah, that was right the first time. Carter Gay on the right, Gabe Fernandez on the left.
There's been a lot of movement.
Yeah, and right now, Jamie Clark utilizing the advantage to get some fresh legs on there. We talked about the other night during our match, Vito, that eventually college soccer is going to go to 1 game a week, which is a little bit better for the legs and for fitness and health. That's the foul called. We'll give a free kick to Gonzaga. But with the game next Thursday and a lot of these games coming thick and fast, they're Thursday, Sunday, not ideal for a high-level performance. And any chance you can get some rest or sub out your starters or use a bigger bench, it'll help you down the stretch.
Yeah, the college environment has always been tough, and there's something to say. I mean, we just look at this replay right here, how physical it can be, and you're asking these players to do it day in and day out, go to school, work jobs, whatever they are doing, it takes a toll on the body. So for the NCAA to look at that and reestablish a different playing opportunity for one game a week, it's going to be outstanding for the players and the programs.
Chase Potter. Luan was there. Suzuki able to run it down. Hammond looking for Michael Luan. And a nicely collected Stockton short. Short able to make that grab. And one of the, I think, the question marks, to be fair, bringing in an experienced goalkeeper, you know what you're getting there, but big shoes to fill. Hadn't played at this high of a level in the past, but he's been good so far tonight, certainly. Gonzaga with a substitution coming in, Jackson Farrell, who played quite a bit the other night out of Seattle, Washington, another local product from Washington State, comes in on the right wing, and Hammond will make his way dirtied, exhausted. I mean, look at the jersey. That kind of tells you everything.
Yeah, that one game a week will be actually very advantageous for the laundry and kit guy.
For the Tide man.
Yeah.
Huh?
I mean, I did laundry when I was here coaching, and I remember it was a rough go when you had a Friday to a Sunday night game. I was scrubbing jerseys all day Saturday. Those were the good old days.
Probably didn't appreciate it then. You might appreciate it now. This one lofted into Michael Luan. A lot of contact there. Tripped up. Just got a little discombobulated as that ball floated by. Emmett Lyman has it taken away by Robles. Chase Potter looks down and says, ooh, guess what I found? Trying to clip one over the top to Luan. Jackson Farrell, the freshman. Fearless going into the challenge. A nice touch there. Oh, and going down, Bertos. Experienced play there, knew exactly what he was doing to draw the foul. And some more youth coming in for University of Washington, and I think a heartwarming substitution here, as you mentioned his name earlier, Kenny Pierpoint, goalkeeper out of Gonzaga Prep, will be coming on at the next stoppage. Cool for him in front of, I'm sure, a ton of family and friends.
Yeah, he's an excellent young man. I worked with him a bit in his time leading up to his move to UW, and it was very lucky to work with him. He's a good guy, fun to be around, hard worker. So this is definitely a nod in the right direction to maybe spark something for the future years to come.
Just a sophomore, so potentially this could be his role next year as Short moves on after graduating. And a nice cheer for Pierpoint as he comes on. Ibrahim Rashad also into the match for the Huskies, along with Harper Mikolasi, the center back. So some fresh legs. The two experienced center backs able to get a break as well. Nate Chandler also in, the defender out of Pleasant Hill, California. And the stoppage in play here is just to get a little bit of treatment as Perry Blay is down. I think Gonzaga will get fresh legs on too. Terry Watson, the fifth-year senior defender, looks like he's going to come in there, whether it's for Blay or somebody else. I don't like to see checking out the knee like that. Blay's been fantastic both tonight and the other night. A transfer from Liberty where he was a big performer there and has immediately slotted in here. 7 assists last year for Liberty University, streaking down that wing for the Minnesota native. You'd hope it's a cramp or something late into a match here, but bated breath. Chris McGahee we talked to before every match, and he said, man, we're banged up. We've got some injuries. Some guys we thought we would see a lot of, like Ezekiel Padilla transferring from Pacific, who spent time with Sacramento Republic of USL Championship in the kind of off-season. blew his ACL out 2 weeks before reporting to camp. So just a heartbreaker for him. They were expecting big things for him. He was expecting big things himself. And to lose the year, he just got surgery. He was on the sidelines with the full knee brace. We also saw just the other day, Michael Divano, who was a starter, transfer from UNLV. The senior had 19 starts last year, 6 goals and 6 assists to his name. Well, he started at game 1 at left wing and was really dynamic. Got into the box, almost drew a penalty kick, and then hurt his shoulder. And it was bad enough that he's going to have to do rehab for months before he's able to get back in there. So really disappointing for some of these, especially the experienced, the senior transfers. This was kind of their exclamation point on their collegiate career, and to come and have it taken away from them due to injury, pretty disappointing. Good to see Perry Blay, though, making his way off the field. A little bit of a limp, but doing so on his own power. So Terry Watson in there. Watson played a lot last year, so an experienced substitute. Not as much on the left back, though, so he'll go in at center back, and Sam Dolan will slide over to the left. Long throw in for the Huskies. Suzuki got a thigh to it. Robles it was, excuse me. Fans starting to trickle out of the stadium a little bit here on a late Sunday night. I know my kids at home better be going to bed soon. If they're watching this, Blake, Reed, listen to your mother. Huskies looking for one more. Cap off what's been an extraordinary night for them. Getting back to winning ways. Looking to earn their first win of the 2026 year. Van Dyke, some nice little keepy-uppy there to keep possession. And comes across and wins it as well. Good alert vision from Robles. Able to find Jackson Farrell here on the near touchline. And the first touch is for the local boy, Kenny Pierpoint.
I'll tell you who's not leaving early, it's the 509 Syndicate. They're still banging away at those drums, which is pretty cool to see.
Gonzaga is going to have a lot of opportunities for those fans to come out this year. 11 matches at Luger Field this year, including the 2 exhibitions, and it's really all at home and then all at the road before they start the Pac-12 season. Totally new conference to play in this year. It's going to be fun to see a lot of new faces, a lot of new logos coming to Luger Field this year. Not the same old grind against the teams you played a million times before. Little push in the back as Gonzaga gets the free kick. The first conference game, and remember, not everybody in the Pac-12 has a men's soccer program. Some have women, some have men, and some have football instead, right? So it's kind of a mix and match to make up the men's soccer league. There's schools that are normally a part of the Pac-12, like Oregon State and San Diego State, but then there's also some from the Big West, like Cal Poly, Cal State Fullerton, Sacramento State, Santa Barbara. So you're going to see a lot of those teams, a lot of California teams across those 2 leagues, and some really good soccer programs. You mentioned, Vito, Gonzaga's success against UC Santa Barbara back when UCSB was winning their national championships. They're maybe not the same level that they used to be, but it's still a powerhouse program. And don't they throw tacos on the field?
Yeah,
something like
tortillas.
that. Right? Tortillas, that's what it was.
They love their tortillas down there. Yeah, it's cool to see these programs obviously evolve and the conferences change, and it just brings a lot of excitement. I mean, change is inevitable, right? And here we are, we're in a moment of change and hopefully a lot of good things moving forward. I mean, I'm certainly excited for this opportunity for the Pac-12 to be closer to home. So we'll see how it goes.
Gonzaga opens up the Pac-12 conference season September 30th against Cal Baptist here in Spokane. And really the only familiar foe you're going to see later in the year will be Oregon State. October 31st, a Halloween match in Corvallis will be that matchup for GU this year.
That had to have been planned with Oregon State's colors, black and orange. But it's a good program down there. I know a few of the players. One that stands out is Milo Ray. He's an outstanding young man that I've seen play at different environments, and Oregon State's a good school.
Another local product, Rocky Wells from Meade High School, who's actually played for the professional side here, the Spokane Velocity, just headed down there to join his college team. It'll be fun to see how Rocky does in the collegiate ranks. Jackson Farrell will serve it in. Pierpoint at the second time of asking, able to grab it home. And the final countdown is on. So the Huskies are going to hold on to win this one emphatically, 4-0 against cross-state rivals, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. A ton of players out there who grew up together and played against and with each other, having a chance to compete for the Zags and the Huskies. But in the end, it's the Huskies who demonstrate their prowess. The #1 team in the nation shows why, pushes Gonzaga to the brink. It was 3-0 at half. Added one more in the second half of play. That man right there, Zach Ramsey, had 3 to his name, the hat trick, and certainly our man of the match. And it started off here, a free kick right at the top of the box. Ramsey got it over the wall, down under the bar. That's what got the Huskies going. Then after the foul, he stepped up to take the penalty kick. And lastly, tacked one on with the outside of his left foot, showing the pace to get around Preciado and the poise to finish it off. Impressive performance by one of the top goal scorers in college soccer, and he's got 4 to his name, right up near the tops of the NCAA list already. Well, a fun matchup here, Vito. Final thoughts at seeing one of the best teams in college going up, and the litmus test for Gonzaga. Fun evening here at Luger Field.
Yeah, I mean, UW definitely showed why they're national champions, and they're coming back in Thursday. Probably a bit of a fluke. They brought the energy. They didn't stop. Jamie's done an outstanding job. You know, Gonzaga tried to show up, just came a little bit short. I think if they make a couple tweaks, a little more energy, closing that midfield space, they'll be just fine.
Next up for the University of Washington is the Portland Pilots. For Gonzaga, it's Utah Tech. We'll be right back here with you once again on YouTube for Pac-12 Soccer. For Vito Higgins, for myself, John Billings, and all of our outstanding crew here at Luger Field, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.